Hello, my most amazing artist. In a previous lesson, we talked about pop art or popular art, the art from popular culture, and art. These artists use bright colors. They use subject that was from our American popular culture, and we did a Andy Warhol style self portrait, kind of like this Marilyn Monroe one here, or this Pete Rose one that looked kind of like this. So here is what we did in a previous lesson. If you would like to view that lesson, it's on the YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about Roy Lichtenstein, who was a pop artist who blew up large portions of what would be considered like comic book art. A lot of times he had patterns like dots. Um, that's how they did some colors in comic books, is they did dots or lines to save on ink, and he would do large paintings that were either from that he would create that would be comic book like or from a comic book. Oftentimes he had these large expressive things that said like bang or pop or wham or zoom, um, that are kind of like that action hero comic book look from popular culture. So today we are going to use Google Drawing to actually create our own pop style explosion. And so the first thing you are going to do today is you are going to go into your Google Drive, and you are going to click New, go down to More, and open Google Drawings. So you're going to have a new Google Drawing here. Your Google Drawing is going to be called um, Pop. Let's see, what did I call it? Pop Comic. So Pop Comic and then your name. Pop Comic. My first name is James, so I'm going to put James on this one. So you put your first name in there. So after you name it, the first thing we need to do is create a background. Now, there aren't really filters in Google Drawing that I've found so far to have dots. But what we can do is we can get one from the web. So if we click on the insert image and we click search the web, this should open up a search, and we're going to search. We're going to put in red dot background and then PNG. We want it PNG because that way everything else will be clear. The red dot background PNG. You're going to find this image right here that has white on the bottom, white on the top, and red. We're going to click on that and insert it. When we insert that in, we have one little problem with this, is the empty spot on the top and bottom. So we're going to use our crop image tool to crop this by clicking on these black lines from the top and bottom. So we're going to crop it, and then when we click off of it, it's just going to have that red dot background. So once we do that, we're going to resize it to fit our space here. And we could even probably put like a red. I just clicked off it now, so now it fills the space. This is going to be in our background. If you want to put another color, Lichtenstein often just used the three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Sometimes he would use one secondary color like an orange, but for the most part, red, yellow, and blue. So if I right click, I can add a background if I wanted to have, say, a yellow like background behind it. I'm going to say you can either do yellow or you could just keep it just the red. I'm going to go ahead and do yellow and see how it looks. So the next step is we are going to make just some explosion kind of lines coming out. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our polyline tool. So we go to our select line, polyline, and we're going to create some that come from the middle. Now don't worry about it looking perfect because we're going to kind of cover this up later. I'm going to first go out to the corners, And I'm going to go ahead and make the border, I'm going to keep the border black. I'm going to make the border weight 2 pixels. You can do 2 to 4 pixels. Go ahead and do 4. It's a little bit more graphic like. And then I'm going to make these, I'm going to go ahead and make these blue. So I'm going to go ahead and do this on all 4 corners, right, like this. And it doesn't have to, like I said, it doesn't have to look perfect, just have to kind of go out to the corners. And then once you go out to the corners, next, I'm going to kind of go in the little in-between. So I'm going to do one that comes up in between here. And it doesn't have to be absolutely balanced, symmetrical. It can be a little bit off. It actually adds to the excitement a little bit, I think, if it's a little bit off. Okay, so once I've got that, next I'm going to do a zigzag explosion pattern in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and make a zigzag that kind of explodes out. This is going over top of this. We're going from the outside in. It makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just going in and out with my zigzags. I keep a little bit of space in the middle because that's where we're going to put our word. And then I'm going to change this color to, I'll go ahead and make this one just white. So now I've got red, white, and or red, yellow, white, and blue. The next thing I'm going to do, and I can also, if I want, take the select tool and kind of turn this a little bit. If I want to make it a little bit larger, so it kind of goes out a little bit more, I can kind of stretch it out. Um, so I've got that in there now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a shape, and that we're going to add a specific shape that's in a lot of his pop art, and it is this cloud right here. So when we click on the cloud, we're going to click and drag the cloud, make sure it's big enough, kind of fits over top, and we can curve it a little bit. We want to make the line weight similar to the other ones here. And I'm going to go ahead and make that one yellow. Now, let's see. Maybe we want to make that one red. And then make sure it's big enough. We're going to put some words in there in a minute. So then you're going to put your words in. So we're going to go to Insert, Word Art. And you can either do your name, you can do boom, bam, blam, you know. But I'm going to just go ahead and do my name. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do it in all capitals. You can do it, I would do it in all capitals also, just because it's, and then I put 3 exclamation marks after it there. So now I want to change this a little bit. So I'm going to change my border weight to 4. I'm going to change my color. I'm just going to make this white. And then I'm going to make it bold. And I'm going to change the font. And a good font to use for this is Comic Sans MS. So when you go to the fonts, Comic Sans ends up as like a comic book font. And then I'm just going to rotate this so it kind of fits in. And now I can drag and make this a little more fitting into the space here. So there we go. When you finish now, you're going to go to File, download this as a JPEG image. When it's downloaded, you upload it into Schoology under the assignment. By going to the assignment in Schoology, it's always under this week's assignments, and it's the most recent one. The most recent one would be on the bottom of the week's assignments. This is week 7. It's not on here yet, but it'll say due 10 or 12/3/2020. Once you do that, and you'll see something similar to this. It won't be the same, but this little button right here that says File will be up here. You'll click on that. It is in your downloads. It should be, so you want to make sure you're clicked on downloads. You click on it, and then you click open, and it should be right there. And then you click submit, and it is submitted. So once again, just to kind of go through the steps here, here's another one that I did that just has the white background. You can kind of mess with the changing the colors if you want. Uh, Try to stick to having at least the primary colors. You can add another color in, like if I wanted to make this orange, I can make it orange. I can make some of these then white. Okay, you can mess with it. I'm going to make those back to blue. Maybe I'll make them light blue. So you can kind of mess with the layout and everything. Take your time, make sure you do your best work. And also, let me just go back here. So if you, let's see here. So if you see, you start off, oh, let's get back in. So I kind of tried to do it a little bit different in this one. So we're going to go through this one and then go back to the other one. So when you do this, you want to make sure, let me go back to the beginning. So you can see I started off um, with putting this in from the web. Remember, you're searching for red dot background PNG. Then I crop it. Once I crop it, I reshape it. Once I reshape it, I can add a background color behind it if I want. It shouldn't be the same, obviously, because then you lose the red dots. Then I add in the explosions around it to the corners and then in between the corners using the polyline tool. I add the zigzag and change the color of that. The zigzag explosion. I can resize that and rotate it. Then I add the cloud from my shapes. I can resize that, make the border thicker. I add my word art from insert word art. I change it to Comic Sans and then I fit it into the space. So once you are finished, then what you're going to do is upload it to Schoology, download it from here, and hopefully you got everything. I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.